Candyman 2021 is the third Candyman movie. I think a lot of people forget that there was a Candyman 2. I think it was like straight to video type of situation. So I don't blame you. But yeah, it's the third one that came out last year in 2021. It's starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II and Tiana Paris. Yeah, just for a few reasons. Like Candyman, I love Candyman. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. One of my all-time favorite horror movies. It's amazing. It's great. It's an all-time classic. If you're into horror at all, watch it, buy it, put it in your collection. And for like black cinema too. Like if you have a black cinema collection, you gotta have the 90s Candyman in there. It's like one of the like an all-time classic. And so having like another entry come in, I was excited about that. And then, having Yahya Abdul-Mateen II in here, like I was pretty excited, about that too, because I knew like he's one of the best kind of young actors that's like actively out right now. And he always kind of elevates everything he's in. And I think most people might remember him. Like he was the Morpheus in the new Matrix movie, which I don't know. Was there any explanation as to why Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in the new Matrix movie? I don't know. Maybe he read the script and was like, "Nah, I'm cool." He was cool in that, but I think most people might really remember him from that Black Mirror episode with Falcon from MCU. Now he's Captain America. Anthony Mackie, that weird like episode where they were bros, but they were playing virtual video games and basically. Well, yeah. So, like, most notably, the new Watchmen series on HBO that came out in 2019, I want to say. Yeah, he was Dr. Manhattan in that, and I think that's probably what I think most nerds kind of like know him from most recently. And it's produced by Jordan Peele. So like the pedigree was like really strong in this. I was really looking forward to seeing this. For some reason I couldn't. It was released in theaters, and I don't know. I either couldn't make it to a theater then, or honestly, I'm not really doing theaters like that anyway. But yeah, I definitely like highlighted and circled this, and yeah, I was excited to actually finally sit down and watch it, and I wasn't disappointed. Let's kick it off with what it's about. It's Candyman. I think we pretty much all know what Candyman is about. But in this new one, so this is very kind of like, yuppie or, kind of like bourgeois. It has to do with like artists in Chicago. I don't think, does he live in Capri? I don't think he lives in Capri Green. I think he just lives in Chicago. But somehow, some way, he kind of like heard the story of Candyman and thought it was interesting. And because I think he's like having kind of like an artist block, he couldn't like paint anything, or like he wasn't inspired, and so he was using this to like inspire his art. And in the process, he ends up waking Candyman. You know what I mean? And so the whole thing kind of takes off from there. So what I like about it is there's a lot I like about this actually. Yeah, it's a different take on the Candyman's abilities. In the new one, he's kind of like in the mirror world kind of, and so you can't see him exactly, but like something just starts murdering you, that you can't see. But if you look in the reflection, you can see like he's there, but it's only you can only see him like through the reflection, like do with the whole mirror thing. That's pretty fun. I kind of like they kind of like changed it a little bit in that direction. It actually kind of adds to the scare factor of it a bit more. And yeah, it's pretty bloody, pretty gruesome, but not as much as I would like. Actually, I think it could have been a lot more bloodier and like gorier and slashery. That's not a word, but I'm using it anyway. Yeah, but there's also like some body horror aspects to this as well. Like when Yahya he gets stung by a bee in here, and I guess he's having like a bad. Well, it comes off as if he's having like a bad reaction to a bee sting, but it's like a whole nother thing in there. I won't say it. Like just watch the movie and you'll kind of understand it. Yeah, and his whole like was it right side of his body is like kind of like falling apart and whatever. And he's like there's a scene in there where he's like picking at the skin, and it's like let's just look. It's just gnarly. scene to scene, you kind of see him deteriorating like more and more. It kind of brought up kind of thoughts of like The Fly from Jeff Goldblum from the '80s. It was that was pretty. It was just. And that got me, I was like, ugh. It's Candyman, and I had a feeling that the OG Candyman would make an appearance in here, Tony Todd, and he did. He made an appearance, and it was. I was stoked. I was. I wish he was in it. I wasn't. I wish he was in it more, but there was a different Candyman in here, and that kind of leads into like another thing I liked about it was I kind of was hoping Tony Todd would be in it, but I kind of saw through the trailers that there was like a different Candyman really, and I mean it was fine, it was cool, but they kind of changed the story of Candyman, like the whole Candyman mythos, because it's Candyman was a guy who was lynched basically, and they stuck a beehive in his chest and they cut off his hand and stuck a hook in there and poured honey all over him, and and the bees were stinging him, and that's where like his whole kind of thing comes from, right? But they actually kind of like expanded it in a way that's both kind of tragic and pretty poignant too, just to encompass where there's not just one Candyman, there's many Candymen, because like lynchings still happen, they still happening today. It's and there was like a part in the story where like all of a sudden all these white women are like getting murdered and stuff, and it's like it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before there's some black guy that they're looking for. And when it really hits the fan, like any black guy will do, any black guy, like any of us will fit the bill, just after a while. Because if the crazy thing is, if end up getting like murdered or whatever, it's inevitable that they're going to find a brother to like pin it on. Whether it's true or not, it don't even matter. And it plays into this because they I can't remember how exactly, but there was like that there was a tip that there was a black guy involved or whatever. And plus, like all of the people that Yaya's character like had some involvement with or come in contact with end up getting murdered. And yeah, they gonna connect them dots real quick. You know what I'm saying? They gonna connect that. Oh, it's him. Get him. So yeah, there was like I like how they changed that. They encompassed like not just one instance of a lynching, but like there's a culmination. There's like it's kind of like Candyman is Legion almost now. With I guess Tony Todd's Candyman being like the original one or the OG one. The ending credits in this had this really haunting kind of like paper mache sequence in it that kind of just goes through all of the lynchings that turned into Candyman. They even had one with like a little kid in there as well, and yeah, it was just all of that was in there. All of it was connected, and when I saw it, like, you know what, salute. Yeah, speaking of Tony Todd was in this. He looked great. He looked amazing. It's like he didn't age a day. Literally didn't. It seemed like he didn't age a day, honestly. And also Vanessa Williams from the original one was in here too. She plays kind of a pivotal role in this. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna let you kind of like watch it and figure it out. But yeah, and she showed up in there. I was like, oh my God, it's her. Damn, she fine as a mother. Like she didn't age. It's like she didn't age at all. Like it's like the last movies weren't like 20 years ago or something, It just, hey, I mean, it's proof in the pudding. Black don't crack, man. Black does not crack. Like they look really amazing. I really enjoyed seeing them in this too. So what I don't like about it, yeah, it might just be me. To me, it wasn't as scary as the first one to me. It was good. I really liked it, but it just like the scares weren't really there for me. But it could just be me. I'm old, jaded horror fan, so I've seen a bunch of stuff, and not a lot of stuff gets to me now. But I don't know. It wasn't all that scary or terrifying. It wasn't all that the creep factor was there a bit, but it wasn't like there wasn't anything there that was like, it wasn't, to me, it wasn't anything there that make you like kind of like watch it like this or nothing like that. It was, I mean, it was It was good though. It was good. It was fine. To me, it kind of seemed like they were going more for like style than scares, kinda. Cause I mean, Nia DaCosta, the director of it, and she directed the hell out of this movie too. It's really good. There's one of the death scenes in here was you saw it kind of like from a balcony because they were in like an apartment complex and you saw it from a balcony. You just kind of like pull back from from the scene and you get to see like the layout of the apartment and all the other balconies and other people just going about their lives as this poor lady is getting like brutally eviscerated in her apartment. It was a really good scene, really cool scene, and it actually kind of made me think of like Rear Window, kind of. It was one of those scenes like, oh wow, damn, that was actually pretty cool. I don't think I've seen that in a horror movie in like a while, But yeah, no, it was shot really good, shot really well. But I think they were just going more for like the stylized aspect of it, more so than like to make it like super scary, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense. It's the story of it is dealing with like art and art critics and things like that, and it kind of makes me realize how much I actually kind of hate art critics. They don't. It's just their whole thing is just to kind of critique a piece of art and to like translate or what that work of art is supposed to mean. And a lot of times they're like way off base. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about most of the times. But they come off as so pretentious. Oh, I'm an art to critique. Oh, this piece is a reminiscent of the Van Gogh era of this. It's like, man, shut up. It's a flower in a field. Jeez, get over yourself. Yeah, there's not that much else I don't like about it. So Tiana Paris' character in here, her brother is played by a guy named Nathan Stewart Jarrett, who he was playing his role very well because I kind of couldn't stand I couldn't stand him in this movie. Jeez, so he played his part like really, really well. It was just like, oh God, this guy. Maybe a little overacting, maybe just a scooch, maybe just a little bit, but no, I think he was playing his role well. And it's well directed, well shot. It was enjoyable. It wasn't scary to me. It wasn't. Nothing in here was like all that scary or terrifying or even kind of got me. Not as much as the first one did. First one, terrifying. Scarred me, okay? Like the first one scarred me. But maybe because I was a kid when it came out, so I don't know. 4 out of 5. Yeah, it's a really solid flick. I really liked it, really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll definitely watch it again. Candyman, 2021, 4 out of 5. Really enjoyed it.